This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David and joins me as always my co-host Brian. Brian, how do we do this again?
Well, I suppose I've always been wanting to get back to some of those old notes I took that I would use to, have my first line to introduce myself.
Yeah, I just didn't realise that you took notes on this.
I took a few notes, just give me a second. I'm just trying to find them here.
Yeah.
Podcast, that's the wrap up, that's the bonus we have planned. Here's one. What's a sequence in a film that gives you goosebumps?
The snow sequence in A New Hope. No, fuck. I mean, it might as well be A New Hope. The snow sequence in Force Awakens. When the lightsaber goes boom, across the scene.
Really?
To Rey's hand. Yeah, man, that's so cool. It's like chilling. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not the rain? It's not the cold weather? Just give me goosebumps? No. Alright, cool.
What about you?
Literally, Mad Max Fury Road.
What, from start to finish? From opening titles to end credits?
More or less, yeah. Like, you see that movie? Like, he's already running in the opening scene. Mm-hmm. It's the entire movie is a chase.
Yeah.
And the score alone from
we should do an episode on that.
XL.
We should do an episode on that.
Should we?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should. Hey, have I got good news for you, David?
Can you tell me?
It's not today we're doing it.
Well, we've already done an episode.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that you're like, good news, we already did an episode. We did it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, Jesus, 2 years.
I know.
We're getting old.
But we're not here today to... What is this? I genuinely... It's been, 6 weeks since we did this? I can't remember how we did this at all.
We can throw 7 in there because we only recorded one thing once in the middle of that
that's true.
span.
The long walk. But yeah, we're Talking Pictures Podcast. New episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend.
Yes, we're finishing each other's sentences.
So, yeah, trailer of the week. Have you got a trailer of the week?
I do have
Excellent.
like fucking 15 trailers for
like,
the past 7 weeks now.
It's like riding a bike. You don't forget. Like we'll get back into the swing of it. Give us about 10 minutes.
Yeah, 1 second now. Not that one. Not that one. That's too far away. That's just an announcement. That's trailer 2.
Please be one I've seen.
Sorry?
Please be one I've seen.
One you've seen?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you've seen this here and there. I want to talk about 28 years later, the Bone Temple.
Oh, yeah.
You saw the trailer?
I did, yeah. And it was... I have an uncanny ability in my mind to go, we'll probably do that trailer soon, and then it'll normally happen the next day.
Yeah, you've got a few of those.
That happened to me, where I was thinking, I was like, that's coming out in January, so we're probably within the next week or two, and it was the next day. So yeah. I never said it to anyone, I just thought it in my head. But
did you watch the trailer?
I did, yeah.
And do you remember it?
No, not at all. Right. I remember it being Jack O'Connell focused. I remember there being a good bit of Ralph Fiennes in it. I remember Jack O'Connell being within the Bone Temple set.
Yeah.
And thinking, I was like, you don't belong here. This isn't,
Yeah.
That's from the previous movie.
Two conflicting worlds colliding.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, where is this all gonna culminate?
Yeah.
Like, what's the the first story we get, it's about a boy trying to save his mother.
Mm-hmm. And
that only happens after the first act. Mm-hmm. But this one, what's this going to be about? Mm-hmm. Who are we following? Who's the main character? Is it going to be depicted as an ensemble between Ralph Fiennes, the narrative with Spike, while he's with Jack O'Connell's character? Mm-hmm. So is the third ensemble narrative going to be with Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, the father? And at one point, should we expect the reintroduction of Cillian Murphy's character, Jim?
Yeah, it's interesting because that's something that we've known about from the initial announcement, was Cillian Murphy is returning for these
not necessarily
28 years later.
That was not part of the initial announcement. That was only part that he was going to be producing or executive producing. It was afterwards that he was announced that he will be returning.
But we've known about it for a long time.
Yes.
We've not seen him or anything like that. But it's also interesting that both this movie and the previous one, the 28 years later and the Bone Temple, were shot pretty much back to back.
Yeah.
Whereas the third film that is supposedly going to happen hasn't been shot, and they're kind of nearly waiting to see how these two films do before that third one is fully greenlit and filmed.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to have this part 1 and part 2 of a trilogy filmed and completed before a third one is even fully greenlit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if you're going to go back to a genre that's been diluted milked dry. You may as well do something new, and I think these movies are doing something new, something we haven't seen before. So,
And we both enjoyed the 28 years later. You can go back and listen to our episode on that if you haven't already.
We have on the podcast, and I hope we don't see any Cillian Murphy in the trailers.
I hope so too. Yeah. I'm happy to nearly forget about Cillian Murphy entirely. As in, like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, Cillian Murphy's here. I completely forgot he's coming up.
For sure, we never even thought of him in the first movie.
No, not at all.
28 years later.
No.
We never thought of him at all.
No, so I hope that we don't see him. And I think I'll avoid trailers going forward because...
Sure, what's the point, man? You don't remember them.
I mean, well, I don't remember them in that I'm not sitting there analysing it like, I want to watch this every single day. Like, I watch it initially to get me excited, but like, what's the point in watching a trailer multiple times?
Jesus, I need to get a life.
Is that what you do? Do you sit there watching trailers over and over and over again?
I listen to them.
That's fine, yeah.
I listen to them after a while.
Yeah, but don't be coming at me because I don't remember a trailer. Like, if I watch it and it gets me excited, I'm like, okay, good. I'm looking forward to that film.
In fairness, it was a few months ago.
Yeah.
No, it was months. Weeks. It was a few weeks ago.
28 weeks. At least. It's 28 weeks later, man. Come on.
What are we here to talk about now?
We're here today to talk about The Black Phone 2.
We're very guilty of this, aren't we? We're always doing sequels because that's just a cause and effect of the release of our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, how many twos have we done without doing the first ones?
Joker.
Moana.
Accountant.
The Black Phone, but I'm only saying that because I know there's more, but I just keep forgetting.
I'm sure that if I very, very, very quickly scanned through our catalogue... Avatar 2, yeah, our first one.
Technically.
I would say Megan 2.0, but we did Megan. That was one series that started with us.
And it's ended now with
and
us.
It's probably
Unfortunately.
Accountant 2, I said that one. I mean, any of the real franchise ones, I suppose, we're jumping in right in the middle. Like, we've Captain America 4. Jumping in on, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Moana 2, Gladiator 2.
There you go, that's another 2. So I feel like
Venom 3.
The 2s stand out a lot.
The 2s do stand out a lot, yeah. But it's by consequence of when did we start the podcast. And we do try and keep up with the new releases as opposed to going back. Even though we do have our spotlight episodes every now and again.
Yeah.
AKA the last 5 out of 6 weeks or so. But, yeah, The Black Phone 2. The Black Phone 2 is one that... The Black Phone... let's talk, because we can talk about both, right? We talk about Black Phone and Black Phone 2.
We're allowed. It's our podcast.
Black Phone would have been one that I would have loved had the podcast have started before to do the Black Phone, because...
Same with when Dune was released.
Yes. And I would even go as far back as Top Gun Maverick. I would have liked Top Gun Maverick to be like a, first year kind of thing.
I'd also go with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. We've just thought about this a couple of years before.
I think 2021 would have been a great one.
I think so.
After Endgame. I'm happy to have done it after Endgame.
Yeah, once the cinemas started opening up again after the pandemic, when we started getting that kind of the initial post-COVID films, and cinema was back. That kind of
like if only we
genre.
tested the podcast with better episodes as opposed to the likes of movies such as Amsterdam.
We did a couple of test episodes that have never been released, and we did Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We did Amsterdam and Don't Worry, Darling.
Did we do that?
That was in a double episode, yeah. And then we did The Rings of Power and House of the Dragon season 1. We did both of those in a thing.
No.
Yeah. I think I still have copies of them.
We have season 1 of House of Dragon and Rings of Power.
We might have not done the full season. I think it might have been halfway through. We were just testing out the waters.
Dude, bring them out there, man. Yeah, I want to know what they sound like. Jesus.
But the Black Phone is one that I actually really, really like. And I only watched it once. I watched it again this last week ahead of the Black Phone 2.
Yes.
And I think I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. Because... And this plays into the whole second film as well. When I watched the first one initially, I don't know about you, I wasn't on board with the whole supernatural element. I was to a point. Mm-hmm. And that point being that the kid, Finley, is down in the basement, and through the Black Phone, he can hear the spirits of the previously deceased victims. And I was perfectly fine with that. I was like, okay,
if that's
the premise here.
If that was the start and the end of the supernatural element, you were happy with that.
But the element that I wasn't on board with was the sister's visions and her psychic abilities and her being able to find these things out. And I was like, I find that less interesting, and that's a little bit too supernatural for me. Now, going back and having rewatched it, and I knew about those supernatural elements going in,
Yeah.
I was perfectly fine with it. I was fully on board with it, and I was happy. And so going into the second film, I don't know why, but I once again wasn't completely on board with the supernatural elements. I would have much preferred it to be that the supernatural elements just stick with kind of the phone itself. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I think maybe liked the grabber to be an actual physical threat as opposed to the supernatural element. It just took a little bit for me to jump on board with, oh, we're going down this route then. It's completely different to, I suppose, the beginnings of the franchise, where I did see the grabber just as a kidnapping psycho.
And there just so happened to be the fact that one kid he kidnapped has unnatural abilities to commune with the dead. Mm-hmm. So he fucked himself over there.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been any other kind of person who commits atrocities. Mm-hmm. The point of the black phone is not that the grabber is this new standout horror icon antagonist to be added to the accolades and is now being diluted in the likes of Fortnite and shit like that. Mm-hmm. The emphasis on the black phone was not him. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the fact that he wear these various masks and are actually quite distinctively in their appearance.
Yeah.
Toppled with the top hat and the glasses. Mm-hmm. Never mind the fact he's played by fucking Ethan Hawke, an actor who said he doesn't want to play villains, and yet he agreed to do this.
Yeah.
The emphasis is not on that character. Mm-hmm. Like the grabber. What a generic, bland name. Yeah. Like the grabber. Mm-hmm. The emphasis is on the black phone. The fact that a phone in the room where Finney is held in is not working, and yet it rings for him, and he can commune with the dead, previous victims. That was the hook, you know. Everything else is bonus. Now, you say you weren't really on board with his sister's Gwen's dreams, her visions, even though the crux of the second one heavily relies on those. I would think. Now,
I think that the second one relies, like, it nearly just. The first film is a supernatural horror thriller, whereas this one felt like a supernatural horror. It took away the thriller aspect of it entirely. There was no, like the first one has this whole, like, mystery behind it of where is he being kept? How is he going to get out? All these things. He's trapped in this room.
Yeah.
Whereas the second film, it gets rid of that thriller aspect. And it kind of...
There's no containment. There's no isolation.
No,
and the fact that there's like 3 times more the amount of people... part of the cause trying to solve this issue in the Black Phone 2.
And there's no mystery, really.
Yeah, it makes it less frightening.
It does make it less frightening.
And if you know you're sleeping in a spooky environment, all you have to do is run across the snowy cabins, and there's fucking Barb and her less masculine, less of a ball sack wearing husband. You'd feel
there's too many people to be able to rely on,
and the fact that those people are there, you can feel a little bit safe and comfort. Like, yeah, at least those people are dicked, but you know there
are other people here. Yeah,
there are other people here. They're not the villains. You know.
And that first movie, there are a few sequences that like got my heart racing, and I remember it specifically in the cinema for the first time. And it's when Finley gets out, and it's during the nighttime, and he's chased by the grabber, and he's recaptured.
Yeah,
my heart was racing. I was like, oh my god, like I'm actually getting a bit of an emotional fear from this, like, and it was really great. And even rewatching it happened again, and I was like, I know the outcome of this, I know what's going to happen here, but I'm still like, you know, I'm tense, I want to see it. And unfortunately I don't think I got that at all in this second film, because those thriller aspects weren't there. We fully lent more into the supernatural side of it.
I agree, yeah, but you see, that's only because of the structure of the first movie. The first movie is only about Finney, and the B storyline is his sister. Finney's trying to escape, and his sister's trying to find out where he is. That's all it is. And when you're limited to the grabber kidnapping kids and chasing the kid out of the house, like, of course it's going to be thrilling.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you have 3 kids go to the Cramp Crystal Lake ripoff, and you have the owner of the place. You have his niece, who's a real cowgirl type.
Mustang,
Yeah, Mustang. I'm surprised you remembered her name.
Only
then-
because it's a silly name.
And then you have Barbara and her fella in the office praising the Lord. So that's already enough people. And then their father character gets involved as well. That's so many people in the mix of it all, witnessing these supernatural elements, witnessing these things that in a lot of other movies the majority of characters would not witness. You know, the whole idea about the Home Alone aspect, where what happens with the kid and burglars stays with the kid and the burglars.
You're passed off, like, oh, you're just imagining it, it's just a dream, whatever.
Yeah, so like these kids, it's not just them dealing with the supernatural elements of the grabber and the lost spirits of these boys who were horrifically murdered. No. All the adults witness these things. And that's a more comforting thing to know, because they're not going to be, you know, shunning them out, calling them crazy, locking them in a room, calling the authorities.
I suppose there is nothing worse than like a character being frustrated because people won't listen to them.
Yeah.
Because I also get frustrated. I'm like, just listen to them, please. And it's like, so anytime, like, I don't know if you ever watched the a series of Unfortunate Events, the TV series.
No, I didn't see it.
The Netflix series, and that is so frustrating to me because it's consistently over 3 seasons adults telling children, oh, stop worrying, stop doing this, you're just exaggerating all this stuff. And I'm like, guys, come on, it's Count Olaf, he's right there. It drives me mad. So I suppose that is an element alright in here, that we don't have them relying on the miscommunication or the misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's nice that everyone involved knows what they're dealing with, knows that they all have to pull together and work together to locate the dead bodies and set them free, and then be released from the clutches of the grabber.
The only thing though about that, right, is they do all come together and they all work together and they're all trying to get to this common goal.
Yes.
But I mean, they come to that realization of what they need to do way too easily. There's no mystery whatsoever. Like, they have the night where the grabber tries to get Quinn, or tries to get Gwen even, and then it's like they're all sitting in the church area and they all come to the conclusion. They all like, oh, we need to find the bodies of these boys because he's drawing power from their lost souls. And there's like, you're going on very, very little there, guys. And I think they wanted to get rid of the mystery and so just focus on the supernatural. Like, if we take away that element of it, if we just have our characters have the answer, we don't need to focus on it. And I think I would have liked a little bit more mystery, because there is no, like, in certain scenes, in a lot of sequences, the day sequences are just there to get to the night sequences. Like, nothing happens during the day, really, of consequence. It all happens at night. And I would have maybe liked to see a little bit more, like, of, like, the characters, like, it becomes Gwen's story, and so Finn doesn't have much to do. And I would have maybe liked to see him as a character, maybe with a little bit of PTSD. Like, I know that he does say that he has PTSD, or he does think about these things, but maybe like a bit of I don't know, maybe just a little bit more of him dealing with that, and how has being locked in a room, how does being kidnapped by this guy affect him going forward. And maybe he's the one that is looking through the history of Camp Crystal Lake, or whatever it was called, the
Alpine Lake.
Alpine Lake.
Alpine
Lake.
Or is it Alpine?
I think it's Alpine Lake.
It is Alpine.
But maybe have him go through the history of it, and he's the one that discovers, oh, it was the grabber that used to work here, and he's Wild Bill, rather than the your man Mondo just having the answer, like, oh, I was here the whole time.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm trying to make mental notes so I can respond to all these things.
We'll go for it.
Well, first of all, the fact that the plan that they had to concoct to solve, to find that the fact that the grabber spirit was drawing power from his former victims because they're not put to rest, or souls are wandering the grounds of this camp. The fact that they all came to that conclusion, I agree with you, especially having you said it now, of how it just came to them so easily. Like, oh yeah, it's obviously this that we have to do.
Yeah.
But at the time of watching it, didn't bother me at all, because I was already thinking about something else. My mind was going as if I was ahead of this movie, as if I was ahead of Scott Derrickson and his writing. It's like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You can't fool me. Mondo is the true killer of those boys.
You thought, okay, they
yeah.
were pulling a switcheroo on you.
Yeah, and that whether the grabber was there at the time or not, whether he was in cahoots or not, whether he was more of an innocent at the time compared to Mondo or not, that would be whatever it would be revealed. But Mondo, at the time when he was a young man, was the one who actually killed those kids. And that by him trying to find the kids, I don't know, he could be some sick sadist cultist weirdo about it, or maybe him trying to find them in his own screen time where he's not being witnessed by any of our other characters. Maybe he's trying to locate the kids so he can throw the rest of the characters in there so they can stop looking for them. Maybe he was opposing against the grabber. Maybe they were conflicting serial killers who are against each other, and that's
maybe
why
the grabber was a victim that had gotten away from Mondo or something like that.
Maybe because there was at one point where Mondo was on the radio and the grabbers was speaking through it, but he was speaking through pre-recorded sentences, like how the mother was over the phone. Like, you know, if you're on the phone, you say a few lines, but it's pre-recorded, and that is always going to be what you're going to say.
I like that, actually, because with the mother, there was a few instances where we saw that conversation, and it was Gwen that had it when she was down in the basement. Yeah. But also the mother was having it with another character as well. So
it's how they respond to her lines.
Exactly, so
her line delivery.
Her lines are fixed.
Yes.
And anyone can respond to those, and you can have multiple conversations, and it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why I thought it was good signs, but I thought they were trying to hide the fact that Mondo was also going to be a killer at the time, and obviously I was wrong at that point, because you know, you gotta be wary in the type of whodunits. If you see a character on their own, not observed by our heroes, and they turn out to be the killer, well then you're gonna watch that scene back and see, well, what were they doing on their own? Because if they know they are the killer themselves, well, then why do they act as if they're not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%.
So
yeah.
that's why that doesn't bother me, the fact that everything came to them so easily. But another reason was the fact that we now have the backstory of the grabber somewhat.
See, what you're saying there, I never thought that we were going to have a
twist.
A twist, because it felt as though every single character other than the grabber was the best version of themselves, in that they were as nice as they could be. They were as even Barb and her husband, they were devout Christians. They saw the devil in Gwen, and they were like, no, we can't, we don't want to be involved in that whatsoever. Like, we don't want any part of this evil. Even the dad, who was an abusive alcoholic in the first movie, is now, I'm a recovering alcoholic, like I'm here for my kids in every way, shape or form. And it just felt like he's
a little more soft-spoken now. It's almost as if he's afraid to...
It feels like a different character entirely. And it felt like every character had to be pushed in one direction to contrast the grabber being the evil character, you know, as opposed to in the first movie where you have Finley and he's dealing with his abusive dad at home, he's dealing with the bullies at school, and then he's dealing with the grabber. Now Finn is the...
You keep calling him Finley.
In the first film, he's called Finn. His name is Finley. And in the second film, he goes by Finn.
Finney.
What did I say? Oh, yeah, sorry. He goes by Finney. Yeah, Finney and Finn, sorry.
Phineas.
So, even though then at the start of the second film, it's Finn that is the bully, or, you know, he's beating up on these kids and he's using the lessons that he had learned from the first film.
That's what I mean. That's another thing I was going to say. Yes, you wanted Finney to be dealing more with PTSD and how he's dealing with his time with the grabber in the first movie. But that's already one you've pointed out that I was going to draw to you. A fight's breaking out of school in the Black Phone movie. And
he's the victim.
But in this one, he's now the bully. So that's already a massive improvement. And it's him that... He was a little wimp. He couldn't handle himself. Even it was his sister who was standing up for him in the first one, and now him.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, but even when Gwen was down in the basement, with the Black Phone, when she was having her vision, Finn comes down and gets her. And they leave, and he just turns around and like spits on the floor. But I feel as though that location would have a lot more significance to him, where maybe we saw him following after her, and he is having flashbacks of going down there or something like that, and he's apprehensive to go down, or he doesn't even want to be in the room, but he has to go for her.
But that scene was executed in such a way that it was from Gwen's perspective.
Yeah, absolutely,
But to switch from Gwen's perspective, having the phone call with the little girl that we now learn was the little girl at the start of the movie, to go from Finney to coming up to the house and cutting back and forth to him being hesitant to go down, I think that the scene would not have flowed so well, because it flowed betterly when she comes to and she wakes up and she realizes she's in the basement of the grabber's house, and the black phone turns from like how it looked when it was operational to being worn down, rusted, the phone's off the hook, and then Finney is there to see her and grab her. Like, I think to include scenes then and there of Finney being hesitant to go back to the grabber's house, it wouldn't have flowed well, and it would have contradicted the flow aspect of Gwen's perspective.
You're probably right. It would have conflicted the flow of the scene, alright.
Yeah.
But I think the location itself should hold more significance.
But he spits at the floor, and he stares at the wall. He says the grabber is burning in hell, and he just spits on the floor because he's closing off. He's shutting out all that emotional trauma, and that's the crux of his arc here. He's constantly shutting it out, rather than being an alcoholic. He's smoking weed, which it's not that bad as being an alcoholic. Alcohol can kill you. Alcohol poisoning, but like that bottled weed doesn't matter. He's shutting it out. He's emotionally closing himself off. He's starting fights. He doesn't have any friends, and furthermore, there was that one scene where he's standing out his back door and he's just smoking, and he's saying to himself, he says to himself first, "If you touch me, I'm going to scratch you." He says that first, and then we look what he sees, and fucking Ethan Hawke in the get up like it was in the first one, and he does the motions of waving his hands this face while he's wearing the devil mask. But that was Finney saying that. That was Finney telling himself what the grabber said to him when he said that. And so like I thought that was sufficient enough PTSD.
No, but I think you're onto it. You're almost there. More of that. Imagine if we had two versions of the grabber. One that is the spiritual aspect that Gwen was seeing.
Yeah.
And then the PTSD version that Finn is seeing. And it's the more classic version from the first movie.
Yeah.
And the variations of the mask. And then we have the spiritual version. I just would have liked to see more of why is he numbing this? Why is he smoking so much? Why is he closing himself off from the trauma?
Because that's a very human thing to do.
Yeah, but I just wanted to see more of the effects that this has had on him, as opposed to that one scene and then being told, oh, I need to close this off. Like if it was... we see it's constantly at him, like he says, like I think about it every single day, and it's telling us as opposed to showing us. Show us that he's constantly there in his mind, not even the spiritual aspect, in his own mind,
but
that the grabber has infiltrated his mind.
Okay, maybe the occasional scene where Finney leaves the convenience store and he walks past, and like across the street you can see the grabber in the background, like maybe the odd one here and there. Even then I thought the out of order black phones ringing and Finney can answer them, but he says, sorry, I can't help you, before someone gets a word out. Like I thought that was all sufficient enough.
Okay, well,
PTSD, and I thought that if you have both the spiritual grabber in the sequel as well as the imaginative PTSD based grabber in Finney's mind, I thought that would have been too much of a heavy load of the grabber for this movie, especially when the grabber is only introduced like halfway through the movie, you know. So I thought that would have been too much.
Okay, that's fair. We just come down differently on that.
Yeah, but we've articulated our reasons why. Like that's fine. That's grand. But I'm trying to think what other melting notes that I have for that, because like it's very good. But yeah, the pre-recorded fixed lines that a spirit would say when communing with the dead. So like that happened in the first one as well. It's like when Finney was speaking to all the dead kids. Like it does get to a certain point where the kids can communicate more with Finney. Yeah. But do you remember when Finney does kill the grabber? He with a fucking great scene. It is, isn't it? Because like every interaction he had with the kids, it played a part in defeating the grabber. Finney put the phone, which was broken from the body of the handle of the phone, puts it to the grabber's ear, and all those kids say something, but it was the exact same wording and line they said to Finney previously. You know, so it was fixed. So it's like they are speaking to him, but it's through a fixed line of communication. It's like how Bumblebee can only communicate through radio.
Have you ever seen? You have seen it. iRobot.
Yes.
And
yes,
the recording of your man, the creator of the robots, and
James Cromwell.
Yeah, he only has a certain amount of responses, but Will Smith, every time he like opens it up, he asks different questions, but they're all the same responses, and he's figuring out the mystery that way.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
So that's how Scott Derrickson depicts ghosts and spirits communicating through living characters.
How did you feel then about the fact that we're doing time travel in a way
in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, we kind of did it in a way in the first one with Gwen's dreams, how she's seeing flashbacks of how the kids were kidnapped one after another. Like
yeah, I wouldn't have said that was time travel, especially with the fact that she can communicate with someone in the past, like that she's communicating with her mother through the black phone.
Yeah,
while her mother is alive. You know, more that I consider that to be the time travel.
But isn't that being a fixed message, being a fixed line of dialogue? That is still the ghost which is lurking around today's date, using that fixed message to communicate. So let's say to you, David, I said something to you. Now, it's raining today, isn't it? If I said that to you right now, and that's recorded as it is, 50 years later, you're an old man, I'm long dead. You answer the phone, and that's what I say to you. It says it's raining today, isn't it? And you look out and it's sunny, or it's raining, or whatever. That's still me today, as if I'm over your shoulder. You can't see me, but I can't communicate to you. But I can communicate to you via my old messages, my old recordings, and that's me trying to communicate to you.
I suppose in a way the phone is the conduit between the two times. I suppose it
is a man-made object, you know.
Yeah.
Like
I suppose it's how you look at it. In that is the conversation at the start, okay? Is that actually happening between their mother and Gwen, or is it happening between the mother and the spirit?
The spirit.
Yeah.
The spirit she was dealing with at that time. Because
and so when Gwen, when she listens, she's just listening. She's listening back to that conversation.
Yeah.
But she's only hearing one part of it.
Yeah, because the mothers at the time, her dialogue was fixed messages.
Yeah.
But it was Gwen who was responding. Because
I still consider it a bit time travel.
But later on in the movie, it was the mother we see her speaking on the phone again, but it was to another soul at the time. One of the dead kids at the thing who was under the ice.
I still would consider it time travel because every other time that the black phone has been answered by any character, they're speaking directly to them in the same time period. This is the only time where someone has picked up the phone and they're hearing something from the past. Everything else has been from a different, maybe spiritual plane, but it's all been very present. That's the only time that we know that conversation happened in the past. But now it's happening 20 years later.
But it's only just with the mother.
Yeah. I'm not complaining about it. I just thought it was an interesting aspect. I thought
it's well, if you're not complaining about it, that's great.
I wanted to get your opinion on it. I did think, I was like, because we have all the spiritual element of it. Yeah. Introducing the time travel, what I would consider to be a time travel element, I didn't mind. Like it had, if
memories, they're memories.
Yeah. If they had used, I suppose, if you look at it like that, it's memories, all right. Yeah, because we do get that from the grabber later on. Yeah. Had they had the mother and Gwen communicated to help solve the mystery or anything like that, if it had been trying to solve it from two different times, I would have been fine with that too, you know.
I think there was a movie about that at one point where an uncle and a niece are communicating on the phone and she's dead in his present, but she's alive in her present. Okay. But it's leading up to her death. I think it starts,
and it's nearly trying to solve her murder or something like that. Yeah, and it's
the two of them. But that's the crux of that movie. That's the hook of that movie. That's not with this movie. No. It's a what if. It's a maybe this could have happened, but at the end of the day, the movie we got, I don't think leaves any room or space for anything else to happen. And everything we got here I thought was fine, nice, and the best thing I can say is it builds upon everything good the sequel did. Like the first movie brought it to a full rounded closure.
Yeah, had there have never been another Black Phone, I would have been perfectly satisfied with that. I was never clamoring for a second Black Phone.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I was never looking for a sequel to the Black Phone. How could you? Ethan Hawke's character dies. How can you do a second one? And so when it was announced, I said, okay, so what is it? A prequel? That doesn't sound very enticing. It's not a prequel. It's a good, strong continuation. And it's
had they've not entered the supernatural element, you easily could have seen this film open up with the fact that Finn didn't actually kill him down there. Maybe he knocked him out or something like that, but when the police went in, his body was never there and the grabber was still out there. That's if just only if you're not going the supernatural element, you could see that happening.
Yeah. I don't blame them for wanting to explore the supernatural element of it. I don't blame them for... Because I feel more... You know, I watched the first movie thinking Gwen is the one with the powers. And Finney was just in an environment where supernatural exists. And they were trying to communicate to him how to try and survive. But after watching this movie, they both have supernatural abilities. His is listening to the Black Phone, and obviously it's not just limited to him, but she's the one with the dreams who has a direct link to her mother's curse. Curse / at the end of the movie, blessing. So I don't mind them for exploring that. And I thought it would have been a hard enough story to conjure up to make a sequel out of the Black Phone. And the fact that it was good, like this is a good sequel to a great original, you know, I think.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time since I went into a movie and I was on board with it, and the movie lost me.
When did it lose you?
It lost me in the sequence where Gwen was in the kitchen and the grabber was there and he was essentially Freddy Krueger. Like that's what he becomes in this movie, is the grabber goes from a kidnapper in the first film completely down to earth, and he becomes Freddy Krueger in this movie. And it lost me in that scene. It lost me in that sequence. I was like, I was fine with the supernatural elements to it, but this I do consider the first movie to be a grounded movie and a grounded villain. A
grounded movie with supernatural elements.
Yeah, whereas this one was we're just going to go off the deep end, completely supernatural, and it lost me a little bit, to be honest. But
first of all, I'm not going to lie, when I was hearing about the movie and I was watching the trailer, I was fully on board with my thought and opinion that I don't like the fact that the grabber is now just a supernatural, you know, he's a ghost, because in the first one, the grabber was so disconnected from the supernatural. It was our heroes and protagonists using the aid of the supernatural to defeat this physical, grounded villain. He was disconnected. The fact that Finney put the phone to the grabber's head just before he broke his neck, that would almost scare and frighten the grabber to death. Because what the fuck? My victims' voices are speaking through this broken phone handle. What the fuck?
They do say in that first film that he can hear the phone ringing, but that he can't hear the people on the other end. So maybe, so this would have been the first time.
Could he have been lying though? Could he have been fibbing?
No, the kids on the phone said he can hear the phone ringing, but he can't hear us.
Oh. Still, he was so disconnected, and now all of a sudden for the sequel, he's now an what's that word? Intrinsical part of this movie. He's the effective plot pusher.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I thought that just diminished his credibility as a heightened villain, where we get so little of him, and yet we have enough presence of him to be a worthy villain. You know, because that was a thing with me with the grabber in the first Black Phone movie. Out of all the screen time we have of Ethan Hawke driving around the van with the black balloons and how many different variations of the masks he's wearing. Like, he's one for his jaw and his mouth, and then he has one where it covers his entire face with the horns, and then he has one with the hat and the glasses on, and then he has ones with the masks on his eyes and his like the top of his head, but his jaw is completely visible. And then he's sitting up there waiting for Finney to try to escape, and he's got the belt ready, and he's shirtless, and he just so happens to fall asleep. He's got the dog Samson. His brother is living with him. Who the fuck is the grabber? We got none of that in the first Black Phone, and I think the most inch they gave us to tell us who the grabber was, and us fans suspecting who he was when Finney punched his mask off and revealed his face. And he's in the midst of being defeated, being killed. His foot is broke. He's getting the shit beat out of him, and all he can think about is concealing his face with his hands because his mask has been revealed to Finney, as if it's his weakness, as if it's his kryptonite, as if he's got no power without any form of mask concealing his face.
Yeah.
And that's all irrelevant. And so I thought, that's good. We get a bit of something about understanding who the grabber is, but it's still not enough. And so I thought him just being a ghost, a supernatural demon, or
He's Freddy Krueger, essentially.
Well, in this movie, in the sequel, I thought that would just even decrease it even more so. And I thought, Jesus, Ethan Hawke really... I remember once upon a time he said he wouldn't want to play villains, antagonists, and he's coming back for the sequel. You know, I was surprised to hear that. And so, yeah, I agree with you that it might have taken you off board. But
it got me back on board. And I don't know when it got me back on board.
Okay,
but it just did.
Any recollection of how?
No, I don't know. I think, like, I think when the scene happened where he became Freddy Krueger, and like it became like at points it became comical, where like where Gwen is being lifted, she's floating in the air. There was a point where her arm had been cut. And she was spun around, and it was like she was in the mask.
Oh yeah, in the fucking in the phone booth.
Yeah, and I was like, this is just comical. Like, this is so far removed from the first movie. And I didn't sit there like with my arms folded. I'm like, oh, this isn't like anything like the first movie. And I just kind of like I just accepted what was being presented to me, and what was being presented to me was good, was fun. Like, I was enjoying it. It wasn't like, I hold the first movie in such high regard. It's like, I think it's a perfect movie. I don't think there's anything wrong with it now after watching it a second time, and I was fully on board with it. Yeah. The second one feels lesser than it, but still enjoyable, because if it leans into the supernatural element, at least it does that well. It doesn't half-arse it or anything like that.
It commits.
It commits to it, and we're going to do our version of Freddy Krueger here, where if something happens to you in the dream, it's going to happen to you immediately in real life. Like, even when Gwen is in her dream and she's going through the basement of the original Black Phone, and he's there with the axe, and he just like pops her in the arm. He just gives her a little tiny cut. He just like bops it on her arm, and her arm starts bleeding, and that's when Ernesto sees her, and that's when everyone is trying to wake her up, and he spins her around in the phone booth, and I'm like, this is like Looney Tunes, the Mask style stuff. And I couldn't tell you exactly when I decided, okay, yeah, I'm on board with it again, but I just was, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy it for what it is. Like, I'm not gonna, like, clearly they're not making the movie I wanted them to make, so I'm going to accept whatever it is that they are presenting in front of me. And I think because they didn't half-arse it, because they went full on with it, I was fine with it.
I could have sworn she died in when he spun her, when he strangled her to that. I could have sworn she died with all that blood just spinning out of her.
I know, it was a lot of blood.
It was a lot of blood. I don't find myself comparing the grabber to Freddy Krueger.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think of a few reasons, maybe. Let's see. Freddy Krueger is so far removed from our generation of cinema going in the horror genre. The villain originates from an original film, and it's embodied by Ethan Hawke, who does bring his own to it. No, I said a few. I'm going. All right. The next one.
This is like picking up a Burger King burger and going, well, I mean, it's very, very different from a McDonald's burger, because, like, I mean, it's a different cow, really.
Guess what, David? In this world where I'm comparing the grabber to Freddy Krueger, they're the only burgers in the world.
Yeah.
There are no other villains in cinema going that are capable of killing you in your dreams, and it may happen in real life. but there's so many different restaurants that can produce so many different burgers. So stick with me for a second.
Go for it. Then.
That was a great analogy.
I think that you're trying to separate them when they're very clearly close to, if not the same character. Really,
they're not.
But they are though, Brian.
But then, no. First of all, the grabber stands out from his own. Or he started off as a normal antagonist in a horror genre.
So did Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger was just a normal guy.
No, his first movie being introduced was what the grabber was in the sequel. There was no Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street movie where Freddy Krueger was the villain first and then he died at the end of it as a normal human man.
Okay.
And then, don't roll your eyes at me.
No, I think that you're trying to make an argument for something that you don't even really believe in. Like, you're trying to play devil's advocate for no reason. When your character in your movie thrives on and manifests himself when a character dreams.
Yeah.
That's what Freddy Krueger does. What's the whole crux about Freddy Krueger is that he can hurt you in your dreams. And he only manifests once Gwen is asleep.
Would you be bothered more so if we got a Nightmare on Elm Street movie just a few years ago, maybe?
What do you mean?
The presence of Freddy Krueger in modern horror these days is very lacking.
But that's irrelevant to whether they're like each other or not. Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees are very like each other. I would compare those two.
And no one seems to have problems with them.
What?
How come no one's giving out that? Why are you giving us another Halloween movie? He's just Jason Voorhees. How come no one's complaining about that? Is it because the masks are different?
I think it's because that happened at the kind of introduction of horror. You know, the beginnings of the horror, whereas now we're so far into cinema,
yeah,
that it would just be nuts to, you know, I think it's just when you have a character that is so easily defined as having control over dreams. Now, why would you do that again?
Why would you do it again? Because Freddy Krueger does not copyright the story template of Dream Haunted, but
he's the poster child for it, though.
He is. I won't deny that, but I'm not. I didn't go home on the drive thinking he just turned into Freddy Krueger.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that because I think the grabber is enough of a unique character as a character, like as a personality.
I don't know. I don't think that there's enough there presented within the film,
dude,
to justify that.
Dude, that's exactly what I felt when I watched the first movie.
I think that everything that we know about the grabber, everything that we think about the grabber, has to be your own interpretations. Like for me, the way I interpret the grabber is that he is very similar to James McAvoy in Split, where I think that every variation he makes of the mask is a different personality. Because every time he goes down into the room, he acts differently with Finley.
Yeah. There is a slight touch in his different personalities.
And even when he's out grabbing children, he's in the face makeup. He's in a white face. Like, we never see just plain Ethan Hawke. The only time we see him is in the flash or the picture in this Black Phone 2. Yeah,
because even when his mask is punched off, he's quick to cover himself with his hair and his hands. We never get a clear-cut, direct, like 10 seconds of Ethan Hawke. We all know what Ethan Hawke looks like, you know? It's like we all know what Karl Urban looks like. We still don't get him looking like under the helmet of Judge Dredd, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
So I think even there, furthermore, that stands as a bit of mystery to him.
But that's only something that I've put on him myself.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe he is the same. Maybe it is just him as a character. Now, I think that my interpretation of how he is in the first movie is contradicted by the second movie. Because yes, he does have the variations of the mask, but he's very much the exact same throughout, personality-wise. I don't think there's any variation of personality.
Okay, but is that not a consequence of the structure of the movie? Because he's out literally only just for vengeance. And he's targeting Finney, therefore he's targeting Gwen. Is that not a consequence of that? That he remains consistent? Now, don't forget, I think one of the standout scenes of this second movie is when he makes it think that he's showing Gwen the flashback in the memories of what her mother did when she woke up from bed and went to the grabber's house to find a boy who was kidnapped, and that's when a young grabber caught her, put her in the van, and then the current grabber, who's the spirit, stepped out of the van and motioned Gwen to come on in. I have something to show you. And that little scene between the grabber and Gwen, when Ethan Hawke has the lower mask on it covering his mouth and his nose, but he's got the top of his face revealed, that's a bit of honesty with the grabber.
That is the only moment, and yeah, you are right, that's the only moment where the character is different.
Yeah,
we get this kind of multiple personality thing of it. You know?
He's not as threatening. He's not as aggressive. He's not,
as he says, like, this is a kindness.
Yeah,
I'm giving you this closure.
Yeah,
for this.
But you know, it's still because of the structure of the movie, because he's got to be this one thing. He's out for revenge. Remember, he has somehow escaped the ices of hell with only fractions of his memory and who he was as a person, because hell took the rest of it, as he said himself.
I mean, it's possible that, like, I suppose when you say that, that might explain it, all right, because
it might have taken away his childlike, innocent behavior, and it only left the hate that remains.
It only left the worst of him, all right.
And look at him. His body is like half zombie like. He's got ice burns all over him. Have you seen his feet when we saw his feet?
Yeah, he had the skates on them, and
it was like frozen to him, but his bones were sticking out as well.
Yeah.
The costume he was wearing, it was like half ripped up. It was like it was a worst, like, it was an undead version of his appearance.
And I liked the appearance. I thought that if we're going to go the supernatural element, at least they went full with it. It's not just
he's
the
not
grabber.
he's not wearing shoes, you know.
No, he is there, and maybe with saying that, if he did go to hell and he lost his memories and it's only the worst version, because in the initial movie, in the first one, there are moments where, like, he's down and he's just watching Finn, or he brings him breakfast, and like, it feels like personality shifts. But maybe this is just now the most evil version of him that has come back.
But in the end of the first one, I still think that even though he's coming down, presenting himself as different personalities, I still, at the end of the day, think that the grabber was just toying him and playing with him, and he's just this one consistent man altogether. Like, he's feeding into his indulges, you know, his fetishes, his triggers. And like, there was at one point where he threw Finney back into the basement, goes back up the stairs, and his brother shouts, "What's going on down there?" And then he shouts, "Samson was barking at someone. Go back to sleep." That was just one inkling of the grabber, if he was working on his day-to-day job, or if he was interacting with society. You know, he's just a normal dude.
See, I think that's what makes the character interesting, is that because there's so little known about him at this moment, we can put those different things on him, that we can have all these different interpretations of who he is. And when you compare him to, like, a Michael Myers is just a man out to kill people. There is no ulterior motive. There is no personality to him. He's a blank slate of a character.
You could say the same thing about Jason Voorhees. There's not much to them.
Yeah, and you could say the same thing about Freddy Krueger.
No, Freddy Krueger has a mystical element to it, and what's his name? Who plays him? Robert Englund. He brings his charisma to the role.
You don't think Ethan Hawke brings charisma to this role?
I absolutely fucking do.
And you don't think
that.
as though there's a spiritual element to this character?
Yeah.
Or supernatural element?
Yeah.
Kind of like they're the same.
Yeah.
Cut it there.
I feel like
I'm not trying to trap you in anything like that. I'm not trying to put you in a basement and say...
It feels like you're just decreasing the value of Ethan Hawke as the grabber. I feel like it's decreasing just by...
I didn't do that. The movie did that.
The movie
but
made...
Don't get me wrong.
The movie made you think that.
The design of the character is great. I think that the one thing that the movie does that is in opposition to Freddy, is that once Gwen is asleep, the grabber can then affect the real world, and it's not like he can only affect Gwen in the dream. Like, when he arrives on the ice, he attacks Barbara's husband, can't remember his name. He goes and takes him, and he spins him around the ice, and he attacks Finn and, like, puts him in the chokehold and all this stuff. And
he actually cuts Barbara on her husband's head.
Yeah,
I thought they fucking died there for a second.
It's almost like he is manifested from the dream world or from the spiritual world in
Realm, they call it.
Yeah, this realm, and he can inhabit this world, but he's invisible. He can't be seen.
Yeah,
he can only be seen by the dreamer. Like even Finn can't see him. He can only just go by kind of what Gwen
and he can
what he feels, I suppose, because he's like he's the one that can't. He's pulling the grabber towards the end, and it's Gwen that can see that one of the boys' bodies is still holding on to his leg, and she chops off the leg.
Yeah.
So he can't even see. Like he's feeling around this body. So that is an element that is unlike Freddy Krueger. All right, that I think is a good addition to the grabber, the supernatural grabber.
I will be more lenient to agree with you if they announce the Black Phone 3 and it's a sequel and the grabber is still yet again up to no good as a spirit.
Yeah, that he's become this
horror
icon.
This is what he is now going forward. If they make another Black Phone and they do the same thing again, because
that's what those horror movies are. Yeah.
Well, then now I would have an issue with that.
Yeah.
But because this is one of two movies, and in each movie the grabber is presented as two different threats from two different realms, capable of different things altogether, in harming our heroes. I think that also is a thing that stands different compared to Freddy Krueger, because it's just the two movies.
Yeah.
And in out of those two movies, one of them he's just comparable to Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I suppose we'll agree on that then. If they continue this trend,
Yes.
then very much he can be compared to. But as it stands now, it's still the early days of it.
It's just two movies, like, and they defeated him again. Like, how can they just make a third one? And what's he gonna do this time?
Just like a third one. If we're getting a third one, I think that we both agree that we would prefer a prequel.
Yeah, and I don't even want a prequel. I just want this to be closed
Done.
now.
Yeah.
And that's a consequence of the story they've told. And I love the stories they told.
I mean, we don't have any control. Like, I suppose we'll just have to watch the box office for it. And if this is a smash, then we're going to get a third one, whether that be a prequel or a continuation. Like, that's just the trend, you know?
While we were still on him, like, I do want to talk a little bit about Ethan Hawke as the grabber. Like I think Ethan Hawke as an actor.
As an actor, absolutely. Like, the fact that he is one of the best actors, but as you said earlier, there is not a 10-second period where we see his entire face.
Yeah.
Like, he's fully hidden the entire time. And this could be anyone, because of the fact that it's a mask that is interchangeable. Anyone really could be behind the mask.
Yeah.
When he's fully covered. Like, going forward, he could be just in that fully covered mask, and we never see his face.
Yeah, but it's his voice we hear through everything else. So, but Scott Derrickson does have a bit of a good relationship with Ethan Hawke, because he's worked with him in Sinister and now in these two movies here. Even the actor who plays his brother in these Black Phone movies, that actor, he was in the two Sinister movies.
All right, okay.
He was he in It? Was that him?
James Ransone.
That's him.
Is in It Chapter 2.
Yeah, so that's that actor. I thought it was so cool to see Ethan Hawke play a villain, an antagonist like this. Like, whatever he was, a serial killer, a child abductor, a murderer. And I think my favourite of his mask is the one with the smiley with teeth, and then he wears the glasses and then the top hat. Because I think that completely disguises him, and yet you can still tell that's fucking Ethan Hawke. And now in this one, it's obviously the devil masks that he's wearing that's consistent with this one. But even though he's still a fucking heathen, do you know what he is? Just a fucking man baby. He's a little crybaby. The first time we get him on screen talking to Finney over the phone, and he's just riling into Finney, saying how much he hates him because look what you did to me.
Now you made me do.
Yeah. Now I'm like this because of you. He says that so many times to Finney, and I'm going, Finney, just tell him you did that to him because you fucking kidnapped you.
He did it to himself. Yeah. It's not like if Finn had a choice, he would not have put himself in that situation.
Yeah.
But it's the delusion of the bad guy.
Yeah. So, and he also says you made me kill my brother, and I think you can take or leave it whether he's just using that as an extra excuse to arm his cause. But the grabber is still toying with Finney and Gwen, playing with their emotions. because he was doing it to Finney in the first one. You know, if you tell me your name, I'll let you go. He lies, and he says, "You're a liar. I was gonna let you go." You know, he's shit like that. And in this one, making it seem like that he's taking Gwen to all these places, but it's actually Gwen bringing herself, showing a kindness, and then I don't know if you'll die in the real world, but we can find out. And he also tries to present himself as this unkillable supernatural entity. But as soon as they, you know, pull an it in chapter 2 and just stand up to him and headbutt him a few times. And,
well, as soon as they realize that they have the power over the dream, like, it's my
Exactly.
dream, I can do what I want here.
Exactly. And she puts the fucking axe to his forehead, and I forget how his mask is ripped off then, but as soon as the mask is ripped off, right, in this one, he does the exact same thing again. He screams, and he's like in awe and agony because the mask is removed. And it's not because it's revealing his completely disfigured, scarred, near skeleton-like face. It's not that. It's simply because of the fact that his mask is off. It's making him feel vulnerable.
It's like Rorschach in Watchmen when
Yeah.
they rip off his face, like his mask, because like he considers that his face.
Yeah.
You know.
And even when Finney was dragging him, like Gwen axes his foot off, and Finney's grabbing his invisible body towards the ice.
He's reaching for the mask.
He reaches for the mask. He puts it fucking back on. He's like Smeagol when in the Lord of the Rings. Like him falling in Mount Doom is inconsequential because he has the ring.
Yeah,
it's like
he's gonna be okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's got his mask.
if the grabber was hanging off of Mount Doom and his mask was just at the ledge, he'll risk holding on to one arm so he can use the other arm to reach for the mask and cover himself. It's like, okay, one problem at a time. I like that is also consistent here, and I like that the 2-second time that was given to that was noticeable. I like that the extra second of Scott Derrickson telling, "All right, Ethan, now when you're being dragged here, reach for the mask and put it on." I just love that little extra beat because it's not something extra, but it's something additional to who the character is.
Yeah.
I like that so much. And I thought the makeup was great. Like, you know, when he rips his own mask off and reveals
The skin
teeth.
comes off, yeah.
Yeah, and the lips is gone. All you see is the teeth. That's fucking great makeup, man. And
That's what I'm saying, is that if we're gonna go into that aspect of it, at least they committed to it.
They did,
You know,
they did.
we're gonna go all in for it. So you have to commend them on that.
one of the standout scenes was the moment where he's showing the kindness to Gwen, and literally I thought it was a little jarring for a second or two just seeing Gwen sit in the back of the van in a memory with the grabber, and it's like they're just having a conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the most honest we've seen this character. And it does, as a consequence of Gwen being the lead character, it's her story, it does put a barrier between Finn having his coming to full circle in confronting the grabber this time. And I thought this movie was going to go the route where this time Finney does die. I thought Finney was going to die this time around.
I didn't think that now, to be honest with you, but I could have seen it happening. All right, yeah.
But yeah, it went very traditional. Like no characters died.
No, you're
the-
correct.
And I don't really want I'm happy the characters didn't die because everyone gets to go home with the sun shining and everyone's kind of happy. And I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, you do like a horror movie where the heroes win.
Yeah, why would you want them to lose?
I know, no, but like you don't like in any instance where the villain wins. Like even if the villain wins 40% of the time.
Not necessarily.
No,
not,
but
not
like
these days. But in the 80s and all that, yeah, they always won. But like now these days, it's like, no, it's actually nice to have a happy ending for our characters. The first Black Phone had a happy ending. The second one had a happy ending. And I also appreciated that this movie showcased that the grabber had more of a connection to the family than we initially thought. Like building upon the fact that no, the mother didn't hang herself because of the curses and the dreams she was having, and that has been passed off to Gwen. No, they build upon that. Like no, the grabber. Now this is a little bit far fetched, but I don't care. That the grabber caught her because she was onto him and hung her and made it look like she hung herself.
Yeah, it was a little bit maybe just coincidental to have that aspect of it and have it be that the two of them went to the same camp within the same year.
Yeah.
And they were both there. So while I do like that it was included, had it not been included, I wouldn't have felt as though it would have lessened the story. You know,
it does add a twist, but then again, showing that the grabber is completely disconnected to the tragedy of Finn and his family life, I think it still holds stronger because just like the grabber is completely disconnected to the supernatural element in the first one, it still holds strong because they're two separate beasts of their own existence. Think that's it.
I had one that nice little thing to top off, a little cherry on top.
Oh, what's that cherry on top?
You know the character of Ernesto?
Ernesto, yes.
Yeah, the boy that's, you know,
That was
Gwen's boyfriend.
that was a funny scene between Gwen and where he says, "I think you're beautiful," and he says, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" That was a funny scene. His character is the brother of one of the kids that died in the first film. Yeah,
Same actor.
I thought I saw him at the premiere.
Same actor. He plays Robin in the first movie, and now he plays Robin's brother in the second movie.
I fucking knew that was him at the premiere because I seen an image of the actor how he was in the first movie at the premiere. I was like, oh, does his spirit come back?
Nope, just same actor playing two different characters.
That is fucking cool.
I thought it was pretty funny.
It's cool. I like that.
He's only got 2 credits on his letterbox: Black Phone 1 and Black Phone 2.
Oh man, that is fucking cool. How'd you come across that?
Don't know. I think I just read it on Twitter or something like that.
That's cool. What'd you make of the two actors, Finney and Gwen?
Finney, Mason Thames, he's having a good year. He was obviously here. He was in How to Train Your Dragon, and he's got Regretting You, which is coming out in a couple of weeks.
He's dating McKenna Grace now.
Are they going out?
They're going out, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. They are both, I think, up-and-coming actors who we will likely be talking about in future episodes.
Madeline McGraw she plays Gwen. Do you know who her sister is?
Tell me.
Katie from Megan. The girl from...
yeah.
They're sisters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, what else is she in?
Madeline.
Yeah.
Literally don't know what else. A few other small things, maybe small roles.
She's got a lot of voice acting roles. She's in Toy Story 4. She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was in Mitchell's vs. the Machines.
She plays like
3.
She plays like young Hope or
probably
things like that. But yeah, I thought she pulled on a fucking great performance here.
Yeah.
Showcasing the agony of feeling like she's a freak. Literally any other scene where she's fucking screaming or crying, I think she pulled off a great job. I thought it was great.
I think the three young actors did a great job. They held their own.
And also there was a lot of gore and gruesome in this movie as well. Like, remember the window shutting on the guy's face and half his face.
Yeah, that was true. There was the moment as well very early on. Like, there's very few actual jump scares in it. I think once we enter the supernatural element of it, like, that's kind of where we stay in the supernatural scary.
Yeah.
But there is a moment where when she's first in the bunk and the 3 spirits all come to her, and it's under the bed, and I know I jumped. I know that the guy beside me jumped. I don't know. Did you jump?
I jumped internally because the music spiked.
Yeah.
That's
I think it was one of those things where I blinked right at the moment where it happened.
Yeah.
So as I opened my eyes, it was there. You know. I was,
but you know, it did appear because of the editing trick.
Yeah. So it was the editing trick and me blinking that it was there.
Because it went from one frame of complete nothing and to the next frame being, he's like pretty much already there.
Yeah.
Not coming out.
Yeah. I thought so.
But I thought it was good. I want to see these actors now. Well, obviously Mason Thames having a good year, but I want to see Madeline McGraw go forward and doing other things now.
Yeah, looking forward to them.
Good movie altogether. You know, this is Scott Derrickson's second movie he released this year.
Was the first one The Gorge?
Yes.
Yes, I knew it. I haven't seen The Gorge, but
Neither have I.
I had heard of it.
Neither have I.
Have you got a recommendation before we let these people go?
I'm going to recommend... I'm going to recommend something after you.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to recommend, and this will be the only time I recommend this, Tron Ares, but you have to see it in 4DX. We saw it last week, and I really don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here. The movie is not good. I did not enjoy the movie. However, seeing something in 4DX was like a roller coaster. It was so much fun. There were times when there were cars that were completely turning over, and I was I was nearly being thrown out of the seat. I was laughing, I was cackling. I probably disturbed everyone else in that cinema, but fuck, I had a great time. So maybe not even Tron Ares. Just go see something in 4DX.
But no, Tron Ares was good in 4DX.
Yeah, it was the only way that I would go see it, because I think you initially put Tron on the schedule as in we were going to do an episode on it.
Yeah.
I saw that and I went, yeah, we're not doing an episode on that. Like,
yeah, but
no.
you only tell me after the fact.
Yeah, I'll let
movie.
you live in a little bit of ignorance. Sometimes I know when a movie goes on there, it's like, yeah, we're not going to do that because we're not going to enjoy that. And you said, oh, are you going to see Tron Ares? And I'm like, probably not. And then you were like, what if we go see it in 4DX in Dublin and make a day of it? I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Only if we make it a bit of a spectacle. And you and Evan went, and I had a great time.
I was anxious that the 4DX was not going to pay off.
Yeah, it was €20 a ticket now, in fairness.
Yeah.
But, like I said, it's the only way I would have seen Tron.
But I also can concur, if I was watching some of these scenes where we were not going...
not being shaken around.
Like even just when we were on the like little jet ski on the water in the grid.
That was good, yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But I remember telling myself at that time, this would not be as fun if we were just watching this movie as
if we just had to watch it, yeah. Because there are moments of dialogue where it's completely still and then all of a sudden it'll cut to a car chase and you're like,
yeah,
and you're like thrown around, and there's a points where you're being absolutely thrashed around, and then the car chase will come to a stop, so you'll come to a dead stop and you're like, what is going on? And like air shoots out from you. There's also like little I don't even know how to describe them, but like little things just in the back of your head, like in the headrest, and it shoots out air as like there's a fight scene. So it's like so it's like if there's a punch being thrown, it's like someone is punching beside your head with the air. And it was like, it's a little bit expensive. It's €20 a ticket, but if you get a chance to see something in 4DX, I would go to an action film and just have a bit of crack.
I will not watch Tron Ares
Ever again.
because it's just going to ruin my experience with
I know,
the 4DX.
when you actually just have to watch it as a movie,
Yeah.
then it's going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right,
because
okay.
I'm going to be taking... Oh, I want to be jumping around the
I know.
scene. Because the amount of times we fucking do tumble and roll in some of the machines.
Mm-hmm.
I also, because you brought it up, I have to say it. 9 Inch Nails soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that score, man. I was bopping my head to the beat. Man, I fucking love the score. Like... The score alone would be maybe worth it watching the movie again, just to get some visuals. But you can just have YouTube for that.
Yeah.
The score, I have to man. I think the score is better than the Daft Punk and Tron Legacy.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big music guy, so I wasn't paying attention to the music. I was there for the seat thrashing as opposed to the music.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, word of advice: if you're going to 4DX, maybe go to a movie that you have very low or mute expectations.
Yeah.
Don't go see the likes of Superman or Fantastic Four for your first experience in watching the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, I think if we ever get another Fast and Furious movie, I'll be there for it.
I will too. Yeah, it'll be worth it for that. I'm going to recommend a new limited show, I think, unless they renew it for season 2, because that's a thing these days. Task.
Okay, tell me about Task. I'm not familiar with it.
So HBO show, the next crime drama between, I suppose, in short summary, cops and robbers. Stars Mark Ruffalo
Oh, I think I did hear an ad
and
for this, yeah.
Tom Pelphrey. Do you know Tom Pelphrey?
No, not by name.
I didn't know him until I seen him in a stint of Ozark. I seen him in a stint of Outer Range, but like he's second billing in this show, and he's stand out now for this. Like, so his signature appearance is now going to be Task, and I'm not going to tell you what it's about.
Okay.
Cops and robbers. That's about it.
Okay, that's good.
But fucking great drama. Great.
Mark Ruffalo's a draw for me. I
Yeah,
like
well,
Mark
great
Ruffalo.
family drama. Have you heard of Mayor of Easttown?
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No.
Same creator.
Okay.
Task it's just a great story. I've watched 6 of 7 episodes now. Episode 7 will have been released by the time of this episode's released, and I love it. Like, it's something you can recommend to your parents. If
Okay.
I think it's definitely one to recommend for you if you're into it. But I don't know if you watch these type of things.
Not really, I don't think. But I'll keep it in mind, as I do with all of your recommendations.
Yeah, it's only 7 episodes.
Brian, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. It's good to be back. I don't know about you. Maybe we do this again next week?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Thank you.
Maybe in the next 10 minutes?
Yeah. Well, no, that's a bonus episode. That's a bonus.
Okay.
So that's not going to be next week. But thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. We've new episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend. So make sure that you're subscribed to never miss an episode. This podcast is brought to you by Another Happy Studios. So make sure to check out the other podcasts in our network. Brian, any final words before we let these people go?
Well done, David.
Thanks, Brian.